minus 1 minute. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, thank you all for joining, and hopefully more will be joining soon. Thank you for really an exciting, today we really have an exciting session. I have leaders from all over the area who are really into the blockchain payments, future of payments, amazing speakers. Unfortunately, today also our speaker, Jean-Michel, is very sick, as I was told a couple of hours before. So we wish him safety and good recovery, and hopefully he will be better. And we will presume our agenda as scheduled. Meanwhile, please mute your microphone. You can ask any related questions in your chat box for now. In the end, we will open part of for the live Q&A. You can raise your hand at any time, and then we will take it, of course. We will be running a feedback survey. Also, this session is streamed over to YouTube and later on to Spotify. And for our viewers on YouTube, welcome also. You can also ask your questions. I know you are many there. Please do ask questions, and we will be taking them also throughout this platform. And we will be also sharing our WhatsApp group. So please do join it, so you know you can be aware of all our events and what is happening. Is Rudy Shoushany. I'm the host and the moderator and founder of DxTalks. For those of you who don't know me, my background is ICT governance, cybersecurity, and digital transformation strategies. So today, the future of global payments and central banks, two topics that really forefront of the world and the forefront of technology and forefront of technically changing the future of our lives. As I said, Jean-Michel Godeffroy, he's not here. He's an international consultant and chairman of the Central Bank Payment Conference, and hopefully we can understand more by his colleague, hopefully, if we have that luck for him to share some of the information. We have also Mr. Michel Khazzaka. He's a crypto payment thought leader, international cryptocurrency consultant, speaker, lecturer on crypto, and much appreciated. He also helped a lot on formulating this session. Thank you again. Dr. Oriol Caudevilla. He's a management consultant, fintech advisor in Hong Kong, fellow at the Digital Euro Association. Welcome also to this platform, and really want to thank all of the speakers today because each and everyone in his area and his geographical area is, I think, they are on the forefront and really would really love to understand and love to share their experience with us. Each one covering a different geographical area. Was it Dr. Oriol from Hong Kong and Asia, or Michel from Europe? Next Wednesday, as usual, we were running the show for the last months at 9:30 p.m. due to Ramadan timing. Now, hopefully, we'll go back to our 6:30 scheduled time on the 19th of May. So another Crypto Talk Wednesdays. This Wednesday, I'm sure, is going to be very hot to highlight what's happening in the market, especially that Elon Musk is playing a very nice bad role in the same time. That's why, the market has crashed in the last 24 hours. With that, I just want to start by welcoming our speakers. I'm going to start by Michel. Please, Michel, introduce yourself to our audience. And with that, I'll take Dr. Oriol after that.
Thank you, Rudy. And I also join you to welcome everyone on this chat today, on this talk today. I see familiar names, familiar faces, so I'm happy also to to have you on board. And also I will present myself for the ones who don't know me. I am Michel Khazzaka. I work in consulting, mainly consulting of payments, around payments. And the payments value chain, for some, it's unknown, for some, it's very well known. So payments we will talk about later. And on this value chain of consulting and payments, I also specialize in cybersecurity, payment security, and crypto, payments innovation and crypto. So I'm currently at France Payments Forum. I lead the work group around crypto payments. Nicolas de Sez just talked a little bit and introduced himself a little bit. So he's also one of the founding members of France Payments Forum. And I work internationally in France and Switzerland and Spain, Australia, USA. So I have some international experience in payments and blockchain use cases.
Thank you, Michel. Dr. Oriol, would you mind also introducing yourself more to the audience so we can better understand?
Sure. First of all, thank you very much for having me today. It's a pleasure to participate in this event, and thank you very much to all the audience for attending this webinar. Well, about myself, I'm wearing several hats right now, but to make it short, basically, I would like to say that I'm working as a fintech advisor for several fintech companies, and most of them based in Hong Kong, where I'm normally based as well. Aside from that, I'm working as a management consultant for a European legal tech company called TerHelp, and aside from that, I am fellow at several organizations, including the Digital Euro Association in Europe. And I'm also doing research on several areas and topics, being my main areas of research and interest, that of central bank digital currencies, especially the digital yuan and other projects in Asia, as well as blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Oriol. Just please, whoever, just mute yourself so we can. Okay, just let me mute everybody. That way it's better. Thank you again. Let me highlight this. Okay, sorry. So as we see, we have a really lovely audience and amazing people today. They want to share the information that we have. So let's start by Dr. Oriol. If you mind, also you mentioned DEA. All right. I wanted to define it. What is its role today? What is it doing? What is it really about?
Sure. As I said before, the Digital Euro Association is one of the several organizations I currently belong to. Basically, the DEA is a think tank specialized in central bank digital currencies, stable coins, crypto assets, and other forms of digital money, but particularly focusing on the digital euro, of course. Basically, the DEA's mission is precisely to contribute to the public and political discourse through research, education, and by providing a platform for policymakers, regulators, academics, economists to discuss any money-related topic, being, of course, the digital euro one of the hot topics, because, this is a very interesting project now. So this is, of course, at the very core of the Digital Euro Association.
Thank you. Thank you. Michel, do you mind introducing also the France Payment Forum in parallel to really what it does, what is it doing, what's the latest project?
Sure. So France Payment Forum is a French association. It's like a club of payment actors. So the payments value chain actors are banks, are payment service providers, are terminal constructors. I mean, everyone who works on this industry called payments, from central banks to automated teller machines, constructors, or software editors like Visa, scheme editors. These are members of this club. They represents France Payments Forum, represents all the actors of this value chain in France. It has an action now to also work on the European Payments. European Payments Forum. It's an ongoing project, and it is divided into work groups. One of them is for card payments, the other one is for regulation and payments, etc. And we've recently, last year, I've created with Nicolas here with us on the call and the president of the association, a work group dedicated to crypto payments. So it's not cryptocurrency, it's not blockchain, it's crypto payments, which is one of the use cases of the blockchain and the cryptocurrencies and the acceptance of payments using crypto or the central bank digital currencies, can be private, can be public. So we are benchmarking the experimentations that are going on from central banks. We are following also what the private sector is doing, and we are taking into account what can be the impact and the opportunities for the legacy actors of the value chain. And we also open to the fintechs, the startups who have innovations around this opportunity. We will talk later maybe what's crypto payments for us and what we do as projects. But this is what the France Payments Forum stands for.
All right, thank you. I just want to say again to our audience, we have 38 live now. Let me check on the YouTube audience. Meanwhile, sorry for just waiting you 1 second. Okay, we have around 200 also on YouTube, so please join us. Put your questions in the chat box. Was it on YouTube or was it on Zoom? On the YouTube, please subscribe so you can, we can have more of you supporting us. We will be now also sharing our links so you can also, follow us and so on. Let's go to Dr. Oriol. I want to ask you, I think you are in a very unique area where you are now. You're in Asia, you're in the hype of that crypto or payments or future payments, or, that trends, everything technically is happening on that side in a faster scale. You are in Hong Kong, China, which is leading technically on the CBDC front. Do you mind telling us why China is leading? What differentiates from other, players? For example, Europe is also trying to, follow that race. What's the future of that CBDC, since you are also, following up on that front and you are actually inside that storm of payments?
Yeah, sure. Well, basically, it's hard to summarize this, but I think the whole idea in here is the fact that of course, that China didn't invent the idea of CBDCs, but I think they simply started first. They started first, and they've been more eager than many other countries, when it comes to testing their own CBDC, proceeding with the pilot test, etc., etc. I think that that's pretty much the key. Here, this idea of trying to be first and trying to be maybe more eager than other countries or areas. I think this is so as well because, as you know, central bank digital currencies may actually be serving many different purposes. The digital euro, for example, in the future, if eventually deployed, doesn't need to look like the digital yuan at all. In every case, it's going to be central bank money, etc., etc. But then at the same time, the way that it's going to be, programmed, it might differ. So I think that's pretty much the idea, because China has actually been trying to use its digital yuan to promote cross-border payments, which is an incentive that maybe we don't have, let's say, maybe in Europe or in other places to that extent. And this is so because, through the digital yuan, China wants to achieve several things, of course. I'm not saying that China doesn't want to promote financial inclusion or maybe to control its monetary system and financial system much more efficiently. Of course, they want to achieve those goals as well. But aside from that, I think that, not only aside from that, but in a more important way, China wants to promote what I said before, cross-border transactions, cross-border payments. This is so because, there is no denying that the US dollar has been the most widely used currency in international trade for decades. And this is not going to change overnight, of course, but China kind of realized that they can at least partially try to challenge this. So this is why China, to me, and I think to many other people, tried to go so fast with those digital yuan tests. I think it's not just me saying that, it's also the facts. We see, for example, China, actually, the People's Bank of China, which is China's central bank, recently signing that that joint venture with SWIFT. It was in early February. We also saw China starting its digital yuan tests in Hong Kong, which are actually cross-border payment tests. So when we look at the whole picture, we see that China is actually going to try to challenge the dominant position of the US dollar, at least partially, or to a lesser extent. I mean, to what extent, it's hard to know, because the yuan, as you all know, is a non-convertible currency, and there are many issues behind that idea. But well, at least the intention, the idea is there. China is, of course, at the forefront of central bank digital currencies, but it doesn't mean that it's the only country in Asia being actually interested in that area. As I always say, to me, Asia is the area in the world where CBDC seem to be attracting much more interest, even though it doesn't mean, of course, that there is no interest in Europe or in America. No? But Asia seems to be the place where there seem to be like many more projects. I mean, being, of course, China's the most advanced one, undoubtedly, but there are, of course, other projects such as, for example, the digital yen tests in Japan, which recently started, the digital won tests in Korea. Also, we saw some interest in Thailand, Cambodia, Philippines, Singapore. Hong Kong, for example, is currently engaged in more than one CBDC project aside from the digital yuan, because there is also the MCBDC project, which actually includes the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, the People's Bank of China, the Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates, and the Central Bank of Thailand. And closer to you in the Middle East, we also saw the Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates and that of Saudi Arabia testing a potential future wholesale CBDC in its Project Aber. This Project Aber basically started in January 2019 and ended in November 2020. And basically what both countries tried to do was to test whether it was feasible or not to eventually deploy someday a wholesale CBDC between both central banks, and whether it was feasible or not to do so by using blockchain. And actually the conclusions were much better results than initially expected. So I think that Asia is, of course, a hotspot when it comes to CBDCs. Asia, like in a bigger sense, from
broader,
to the Far East Asia. And I think that China is undoubtedly at the forefront. But I mean, many interesting things are happening in there, so it's important for all of us to keep track of that. Not only the ones like living and working in there, but also like any of you, because I think it's going to be quite exciting this coming years.
Yeah, I think there's a big hype and there's a lot of happening in the world, in general, and let's wait and see. But the effort is really, because they are testing slowly, they are, and they have mass of scale. So let's see what will happen throughout the world and what's going to be the future. Michel, I'm jumping back to you. As a crypto payment expert and consultant, what are the trends that companies, clients heading towards and trying to really achieve in those times, especially now, all of the hype of the Bitcoin and it's booming and everybody, trying to follow that trend, not just the Bitcoin, of course, but on the crypto payments, that's more precisely.
So, Rudy, I would like also to comment a little bit about the CBDC part, since Jean-François is absent today, to give also the mirror of what Dr. Oriol was saying here in Europe, at least, or maybe in the US also. And then, of course, I will love to answer the crypto payments part of it. So just to give you a small idea to the audience, here the French Central Bank have already started to experiment a year ago, 8 experimentations around central bank digital currencies, and the use case the big use case that was chosen was wholesale. This was a strategic choice by the French Central Bank, convinced that someone in Europe should test this first, and that the wholesale is maybe a better use case for return on investment, for a business model, for a problem solving in a way or in another. The European Central Bank, on the other hand, is a little bit more talking and discussing the retail use case of central bank digital currencies. The problem is that they have started last year a consultation. Actually, it was the beginning of this year, a consultation around what the people would like as features in a central bank digital currency. And the results came not surprisingly, but very, very strong, the first feature that was required was privacy. So people means actors, banks, payment service providers, fintechs, startups, I don't know who, all the respondents here in Europe said that the first feature, the most important feature is privacy. And this is a challenge for central banks. Of course, the second one was, for example, that it should be very easy to use. I should be able to use it everywhere, etc. It should use it on a mobile, it should use it offline. So the idea of a central bank digital currency doesn't make yet today here in Europe a mature use case around what features should be implemented first. What's the business model for the banks? I mean, the banks will be impacted in a way or in another. So the idea is to use banks as a distribution channel, but then what would be the business model for the banks? We've consulted at the France European Forum, the European Banking Federation and other banking associations. And in a way or another, they are either against the central bank digital currency, or they don't see at all the problem that it's solving, or worse, they see no business model for them. So this is why we have some late timeline of any adoption of a central bank digital currency here in Europe. It's the same in the US. That's what the Fed was saying. There's no urgency. We will take all our time to think about it. On the other hand, China has at least 4 to 5 years advance on that aspect. But the problem is they've implemented this for their for their agenda around the Olympic Games maybe, or they have an infrastructure of mobile payment service providers like JD.com, Alipay, WeChat. And this is a huge distribution channel that can accelerate the adoption of a central bank digital currency. One of the drawbacks of the model of China is that it is centralized in a way. It is not that much distributed. It doesn't use smart contracts, for example, to allow to build on it in a distributed way. So what we are advising here at France Payment Forum, at our work group for central banks and for actors, is to have a model that can be industrializing for the sector. What does this mean? Well, central banks are convinced that they need to do something on this area. Maybe the best model is to do it with the public and the private sector to allow a smart money, I mean a programmable money, central bank money, maybe one for the wholesale, another one for the retail with a pegging between them. This is technical, but also to allow banks and financial institutions and private PSPs to build on it and issue their own commercial bank coin, commercial bank digital currency, if you want. That can be a DOS, that can be backed by, or uses the infrastructure of programmable money provided by a central bank in general. Why this is important? All what I'm saying is no sense, doesn't have any meaning for the crypto maximalists. I understand them. For them, they are reinventing the wheel at the central banks. That's why central banks are having some difficult, tough time to go with a business model, convince their distribution channel, find a solution, find a way. Meanwhile, in Europe, we are regulating. There's the MiCA regulation. We had in France the visa of PSAN, which is the conservation, holding of cryptocurrency and issuing of cryptocurrency, so you can get certified for this. We are becoming almost a leader in regulation, but we are losing time in adoption and in innovative solutions. That was my comment on the CBDC very quickly. If you want, I can jump to the crypto payments part. Okay, so what is crypto payments in general? For all of us, you know that money has 3 functions. You know that it's a means of exchange, the reserve of value, and it's a way of measuring things. So one of the best components of it, one of the most important actually components of it, is the means of exchange. This is payments. So crypto payments is the way to accept a payment using a crypto technology. It can be blockchain, it can be direct acceptance of a token or a cryptocurrency. So for the banking sector, the word cryptocurrency doesn't exist, although it was invented, but I will still use it here for this talk today. A cryptocurrency is a token, a crypto asset issued on a blockchain. It can be, in general, it's a public blockchain. So this adoption, we have some feedbacks today of how merchants are adopting a payment solutions based on crypto. Okay, some of them are accepting crypto directly. I pay you with Bitcoin, I pay you with Ether. Some of them are accepting it indirectly. I pay you with my Bitcoin, you receive euro, you receive dollars. There are many fintechs here in France, in Switzerland, in Austria, in the US, everywhere in the world, like BitPay, that allow merchants to put a button or put on their point of sale a way to accept crypto without the risk of the fluctuation of the price. Or if you're an advanced merchant, you want to accept crypto, it's possible. So let me give you a quick feedback of the results of this one. This is maybe the most important for the audience about the crypto payments acceptance. One of the studies showed, recent studies showed that it generates usually plus 40% of revenues for such merchant. So a merchant who accepts Bitcoin, Ether, or crypto Tezos on his website, on his mobile, usually generates more revenue for him because, for two reasons. People holding crypto wants to spend it in a way, and they have a higher paying potential or paying value. That's how it generates plus 40%. The means, the panier moyen, the mean basket size, the mean basket amount also increases significantly. And it also reduces the cost of payment for the merchant. Today, when you pay online using a credit card, if I pay you $100, you will receive almost $98. This is the average worldwide. These $2 will go to Visa, will go to your bank, my bank, etc. So when you pay using crypto, you usually reduce this fee to much lower fees that can be much lower than 0.5%, for example, for online payments. We're talking online payments. So very important factor for merchant to reduce the cost of payments. It also reduced the risk and the fraud, because a crypto payment, usually it's much more regulated, there's much more scrutiny, and by nature, okay, not everywhere, but by nature on the blockchain, it's much more secure than the legacy payment. And in a way, today we have zero fraud on crypto payments acceptance for merchants. We have no case of a fraud on a payment on crypto. You also immediately, one of the best benefits, you immediately wide span the geographical area you're covering. So today, if I want to make an e-commerce website in Lebanon, in Paris, Singapore, well, I will usually accept payments in my region. I will use the carte bancaire here in France. But immediately by accepting crypto, you have no issue about banks, cross-border payments. It's by design cross-border. One of the last benefits is you actually improve your compliance, because by nature, crypto payments are very regulated, and these are the best benefits I can tell of. It is a 327%, again, 300% above than 300% ROI. I mean, they have invested money to accept crypto, to put this logo, accept Bitcoin on their website, on their mobile app, and the ROI was extremely fast. So this is the first thing I can say about crypto payments in a few figures. Rudy, back to you. I can't hear you. I can maybe
thank you, Michel.
Two statistics if you want.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I was muted. I don't know why. Technology.
So Rudy, let me maybe just complement this with two additional figures. Today, we have more than 100 million persons worldwide that hold crypto, that they want to use it for payments. For example, in France, there's about 4 million at least, but much more than 4 million people detaining crypto. And 16% of the French people say they're ready to get salaries in crypto, pay taxes in crypto. So this is about crypto payments, the adoption, and the appeal is here. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, thank you, Michel. Dr. Oriol, let me ask you about the future of really crypto and the global payment, and what is the role of CBDC that is going to be playing in that future, because we know there's a big potential, big future, there's a big competition also. And which business model the banks are they going to be changing? I know it's many questions, and which this is going to be impact them. So what is going to be the impact on those So let's take it as a first one. What do you really think is going to be the future of that payments?
Yes, sure. I mean, to me, central bank digital currencies are going to be the future of money, the future of payments. No, but it doesn't mean though that it's only going to be like the only element in the future of payments. No, I mean, what I foresee, I may be wrong, of course, but what I foresee is a future where many or several means of payment will coexist. I mean, we are not going to drop cash overnight. It's not going to happen like that. Some societies are like very advanced in that sense, like China, for example, but still, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. So cash will remain in there to a lesser extent, but it's going to be there. Then we're going to have CBDCs, of course, which are going to be, well, I mean, a digital yuan or digital euro is going to be nothing else but a digital version of the central bank money that we already have. So that's, of course, going to be a key element in our future of payments and money. And of course, then we have this third element, which are like cryptocurrencies, which, I mean, it's true that so far they have been like considered more like an investment, no, by many people. But as Michel was saying now, I mean, it's perfectly possible to use cryptocurrencies for making payments, and actually many companies are already like offering this possibility, you know, in Europe and worldwide. So this is why I think that cryptocurrencies are also going to be an element in this future of payments. I mean, what role each one of them is going to play, I mean, it's, well, I guess that time will tell, no? But for sure, I think I'm foreseeing this ecosystem where all these are going to coexist. Of course, I mean, there are going to be differences depending on each country. For example, China has been like very eager to promote blockchain technology, to promote the digital yuan, but they have not been so eager in with cryptocurrencies. I mean, we know that they adopted like a tough stance towards cryptos for years. So, I mean, how they're going to coexist is going to depend on each country, on their laws. But I think that generally speaking, worldwide, we're going to see this ecosystem where all those means of payments are going to coexist. I just wanted to comment as well on a couple of things that Michel said before, which I think are very relevant to this CBDC topic. Sure. The first one is about privacy. And I think he was actually spot on. And well, he proved what I said, what I'm saying many times in other webinars. Whenever I talk about CBDCs in Europe, I find that people's main concern, most of their questions during that event and after that event are related to those questions to privacy. People are worried about how the central banks, the governments are going to track their payments, etc. Whereas in Asia, whenever I talk about this topic here in Hong Kong or in mainland China or anywhere else in Asia, people tend to be more worried about well, other things, maybe the technical features of the future digital yuan, etc. But maybe privacy would go like maybe on a fourth or fifth level, like their number one concern or priority. So this is just a remark that I wanted to make. And then aside from that, he also mentioned China's infrastructure on payments, and that's actually very true. I mean, it's not so easy for a country whose citizens are not so used to paying electronically to introduce a CBDC. Whereas, for example, in China, it's much more simple for them to test their digital yuan and eventually roll it out next year by the Winter Olympic Games in Beijing, because people in China are already very used to paying using Alipay, WeChat Pay, this kind of payment platform apps. So, of course, the digital yuan is going to be different, but I think that the core, the main idea at the very core is, well, for people, it's pretty much the same, even though, of course, we're talking about different concepts.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to follow up with a question related to fintechs, because now fintechs are playing a big role in that front. What's there going to be their competition and what's going to be their role? Because sometimes we see that, in some of the areas that fintechs are really not a competition. They are complementary to what's happening. On other regional or regions, they are more of a competition. They're taking business out of banks, depending where you are, what's the role and where are the regulations and all of that. What's your take also towards this?
Yes, I mean, I think it's pretty much what you said. No, it depends on where you are, but generally speaking or globally speaking, I think that we are actually witnessing a change in trend. I mean, in this trend, no. A few years ago, it's true that most incumbents, most traditional banks saw fintech as a threat for them. No, I mean, they thought that fintech was a threat, even for some institutional players. Maybe this area was like a passing fad, something that would like vanish after a while. But I think there's been like actually a very interesting change in their mindset. Right now, I don't think that the relationship between incumbents, between traditional banks and those challengers, those fintechs, is that of a competition rather than cooperation. I think the key right now is cooperation. I think it was like that before COVID, but especially now during and after COVID, the key is going to be a cooperation here. So this is why, I mean, it is true that to some banks, fintech firms may still be a threat. But generally speaking, I think we are moving towards a system where we're going to see many more traditional banks, incumbent companies, trying to leverage the opportunities offered by fintech companies by partnering, by teaming up with them. I think this is going to be the present and the future. One example, for example, I mean, there are like many like potential examples of that, but would be, for example, would be the virtual banks in Hong Kong. As you know, Hong Kong launched 8 virtual banks last year. And I think that the key idea in here, or the most interesting aspect to highlight, is the fact that those 8 virtual banks are actually backed by incumbent companies. So this shows you that it's not we're not talking about 2 different areas. No, we're talking about 2 complementary areas. And I think this is the present and the future. I think the pandemic has acted as a catalyst in many ways in enabling a much faster adoption of fintech, and also in showing key incumbents that the future is all about cooperating. That's at least my take on this topic.
Thank you, Dr. Oriol. Yeah, I think there's a big for me, collaboration and participation with together. It's not a kind of a competition in terms, and this is where they have to see. And now we've seen the Payment Service Directive 2. Which really, also enabling such, I won't say it as a competition, but also enabling this somehow to really open and create that third party, create more channels, create, open that banking infrastructure. Michel, I'm going to ask you the same question. Where do you see the future of that global payment and crypto and so on, and the role of that CBDC that is playing also in this?
Well, as Dr. Oriol said, it's very hard to predict the future, but we can have some educated guesses on this one.
True.
From what I see and from my experience, I see that when the card payment came, check did not die immediately. It's still not dead today. It's just a curve that's going down. So yes, when cryptocurrency came and when cryptocurrency adoption grows, and if it grows, we will see also that the classical electronic payments will still go in parallel. Actually, the Bank of Bahamas and the Central Bank of China, they both talked, and today other central banks are talking the same thing, that a central bank digital currency scheme should be seen as a parallel system of the existing payment system. In case we have a cyber attack on clearinghouses, on central bank processing RTGS systems, or on banks, where we would have, in theory, a parallel system called a blockchain-based or a central bank digital currency or a programmable money running in parallel of the other system. This is one way of viewing the future. But I'm completely convinced that the future of cryptocurrencies would be with 3 parts. Private, completely private, I mean, open sourced, community-based, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, cryptocurrencies. So these are the people's cryptocurrencies, let me call it this way. The second one would be corporate-based cryptocurrencies, such as Diem. Amazon is working on a project like this. Apple is studying it. I don't know, Google, maybe others, big GAFAM are working on such projects. So we can see coexist public-based, open-sourced cryptocurrencies, corporate-based cryptocurrencies, and central bank cryptocurrencies. And one of the issues is the global stablecoin, the cross-border central bank digital currency, how to redeem a digital euro with a digital yuan, with a digital US dollar. So there is a construct, there's a platform to build, there's an infrastructure to build, and SWIFT recently published a paper on this. SWIFT wants to reposition itself because it's being threatened by this evolution as a player on the central bank cross-border compatibility. This is from the central bank and the cryptocurrency part. But from the payments part, the adoption is starting. Today, cryptocurrencies is used just to hodl. I mean, to keep the money against the inflation as a reserve of value, especially in the context of negative rates here in Europe, for example, or very low rates worldwide. So people are today holding crypto against a hedge of the losses of value of their own money. The euro, the Lebanese pound, for example, is a very important example, unfortunately, on this one. So the future of holding, so the features of money is, as we said, a means of value, a means of exchange, the way of measuring things. The future, the evolution of the holding is to pay with it. And this is where the battle is going on. Central banks don't want people to pay with something other than a central bank money or an electronic regulated money. Well, as you know, money is the monopoly of power. One of the definitions of money is just the monopoly of power, or the monopoly of violence, if you want. So central banks will try to stop this in a way to transform crypto assets, cryptocurrency as just crypto assets, like gold. You can have gold, but, well, you are not able to pay with gold worldwide for many reasons. So they want to push this for that side. And the battle is from open communities to try to make it as easy and as possible to pay with cryptos. That's what I see for the few coming years.
Yeah, thank you, Michel, for that. There's a lot of, again, a lot of happening in the world, and a lot of solutions also. And yeah, as you said about SWIFT, it's actually being disrupted itself. It was a king of transborder payments and so on. And the same thing was Microsoft, king of desktop, and all of a sudden they woke up, they have a competitor called Google, Android, and it was natural for them to be on every phone, and they are not. Same thing that's happening now with SWIFT and the GPI that was created to try to really, with all of the help that they're doing, I think, they still need a lot of time, a lot of innovation. They must adapt faster, even, with all the fast payment options they've done it, it's still somehow slow versus the other payments. And this is where, we see, and my question to Dr. Oriol, what are, we have a question here about coins, but I'm not going to ask it the same way because as a payment method. But what do you see as a crypto payment method from the available, of course, we're not going to be talking about Bitcoin as a payment method. We understand, because there's a big volatility. We need stabilization. We need all of this that is not happening on the crypto or on the Bitcoin itself. But there are alternatives, and there are many other players that they are playing or trying to play that role. So where do you see that, in the world? This is a question from Jacob.
Well, I think it's pretty much what you said now. I think the whole challenge here is precisely volatility. It's to me still quite complicated, to think of, let's say, getting your salary paid in crypto and making certain payments in cryptocurrencies if you never know, what's going to happen with its value like the next day. So that's what makes, maybe in this sense, when it comes to payments, it makes stable coins such as, for example, Tether, the most reliable ones for that, in that sense, for that purpose. And when it comes to the whole idea, well, I think it's what we said before. I think that the future is going to be about combining cash and CBDCs and then cryptocurrencies, even though cryptocurrencies are perhaps like the most challenging ones, because of those issues or features that we mentioned. Volatility. Then there is also this regulatory element. When it comes, for example, to CBDCs, they're going to be issued by a central bank, so you never need to be worried about a certain government changing its mind, like from one day to the other. Whereas when it comes to cryptocurrencies, where there is always this element of risk that maybe you don't find when it comes to CBDCs. But well, I think that the general idea is there, no, and many more people are becoming interested in cryptos, and they're becoming mainstream. So they're going to be, of course, part of this future of payments to some extent.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of thought. And Michel, let me ask you also about, we've heard about Chase Manhattan, JP Morgan, and other banks today. They are putting in their assets Bitcoin and other crypto. So this is a question also from the audience. What do you think about that step of having in their portfolio such coins?
We're talking about institutions investing in crypto in a way or another. Well, today we have just passed this point years ago, I mean, at least 2 years ago. The peak of 2017 was mostly made by Mr. and Madam everyone who wanted to invest a little bit in crypto to play or to test with it. Today, institutions, I mean, hedge funds, investment institutions, financial institutions have calculated their risk that if they diversify 1%, 5%, 10% of their existing funds on crypto, I'm not talking about Bitcoin alone, they study a protocol and they say, okay, I will invest partly on this one. They actually reduce their risk of volatility of their wallet. I mean, the money under management they have. So we have already passed this point and we will not get back from this threshold. People are talking about the raise of central banks rates. This can impact a little bit how much funds will put on crypto or get out of crypto. There is market manipulation, as we've seen Elon Musk play up, play down. People thought that Elon Musk brought Bitcoin up and Elon Musk brought Bitcoin down. This is wrong. He influenced a little bit, but they forgot that PayPal have adopted crypto payments and Bitcoin and others. Visa and Coinbase entered the Wall Street, and Binance issued a very important, I mean, there are many news that are structurally changing the value of the crypto payments industry. Now, banks need to catch this up. Excuse me, just. Yeah, sorry for that. So
that's okay. We understand it. This is the new normal that we are living in. That's okay.
It's the time they get back from school. So,
yeah.
So yes, the problem is banks in Europe, they are not adopting this technology. Some banks in Singapore, in US, in Switzerland, they're proposing services to conserve, to hold cryptocurrency for their clients. Even though we have the right in France to do it, you have the legislation to do it, banks have a no-go on it from authorities, let's say it this way, not to go this path. This is a risk. We've done this before. We've lost many races. Just as a reminder, mobile payments, for example, when Apple Pay and Google Pay, look, I've published a paper in 2013 saying the rise of smart payments, that in 2015, Apple will enter into the mobile payments. So banks here in France said, you are too visionary, this will never happen. When this happens, they try to issue their own wallets that work only with the internal bank. They spend hundreds of millions of euros on such projects and throw it to the recycle bin. And today, they've all adopted Apple Pay. So they are getting late on the adoption, and this is a big problem we have in Europe.
Yeah, thank you, Michel. I'm taking just questions from the audience. Please do keep them coming. We have a lot of questions from YouTube, and we have also questions here. We will really try to, as much as we can, really take them, because this is the most important thing, not just having the info. We have leaders here who are on the forefront of such technologies. So keep them coming, the more, the better. Let me go back a little bit from Hamad. How can we guarantee the safety of stability? I think we already answered this. Can we define CBDCs as private blockchain, which is different from the cryptocurrencies which run on public blockchains? This is a question from Beverly Pang. Can we define CBDCs as a private blockchain, which is different from other cryptocurrencies? Can anybody answer that, Dr. Oriol or Michel?
Sure. I mean, I can start, but I'm sure that Michel is going to have like more points to add. I think this is wrong, basically, because CBDCs do not need to be blockchain based. I mean, it is possible for CBDCs to be based on blockchain. It might be actually useful for them to do so. I mean, you should actually have a look, for example, at the conclusions of that Project Ava report that I mentioned before in my first speech. So, yes, CBDCs may be blockchain based, but they do not need to be blockchain based. So this is why whenever we talk about how to define CBDCs, we cannot like attach blockchain to this CBDC definition. I mean, it will use CBDC blockchain in some cases, it will not in some others. But I think we shouldn't attach blockchain to that definition.
Yeah, thank you. I just shared the links of LinkedIn, Dr. Oriol and Michel. Follow them, connect with them, get to know them. If you have anything, please do. Muhammad is asking, has actually multiple questions. Isn't it a bit wide range currencies, seeing all those things like Bitcoins, GODB, Pi? Your question, Muhammad, is not clear. If you mind opening your mic and re-asking it so it's better.
Yes, hi.
Yes.
How's everyone?
I
would like to ask about this wide range of you can see nowadays like a lot of Bitcoins, GODB, Pi, whatever it is. So how can you guarantee which one you're going to be choosing at the end and which one's real, which one is scamming? I'm sorry to ask this question. I don't know if it's in
place. We have 4,000 plus digital coins. So
yeah, even more than 5,000. Even more than 5,000. Yes. So yeah, you're completely right. Just to put this on a time frame, we are we are at the end of a gold rush era in cryptos. So in payments, we have cycles and payments evolution history. So today, if we take this and project it on the cryptocurrency evolution, we have just ended the gold rush. Gold rush means everybody is issuing his coin, his protocol for a use case. We have ended this period in 2020, almost, and we are entering a structuring era. What does this mean? Many will die, others will merge, and some will outlive the others. So there will be some cleaning on these protocols, but they are useful. I mean, these 5,000 cryptos that have been issued, these are either, most of them are experimentations, research, use case solving. One of them is, for example, for, I don't know, health. The other one is for the invention of a private coin, or the other one is for distributed KYC. So there are use cases behind them. Maybe in the future, they will merge into something bigger. I believe from my analysis that we have ended the gold rush era. Now, how you choose a coin? Well, it depends for what. If you want to invest, there's something to do. If you want to use it as a usability token, I mean, as a non-fungible token, it depends on the use case. So the most renowned one, of course, beside Bitcoin and Ethereum are today, like, for example, Tezos. It depends on where are you, Cardano. These are general purpose protocols on which you can build almost whatever you want on a blockchain, on a public blockchain. Some others are just usability tokens or utility tokens. I hope this answers partly your question.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Michel, to add on your previous answer, not just PayPal and others, also MoneyGram just announced a couple of days back, they're letting their outlets play a role in this. So we're going to be seeing more adoption. They have thousands and thousands of shops throughout, US and later on worldwide, to bring adoption further into the crypto. So let me take a question from YouTube. We have a couple of questions, actually. Bank of England was the first to introduce the term CBDCs, but he might be the last to implement. Or join actually the revolution. Can there any leaps be done in, not just, I don't think just, Central Bank of England, I think throughout the world, can they do, jumps or any shortcuts to be on the forefront? Is there anything can happen? Because some are, late in this game.
Sure, I can take this one first. Basically, no. I mean, I don't think any central bank should take any leap because even China, we said before that China is at the forefront, but it's taken them a while to be in that position as well. I mean, China started to do research on the digital yuan in 2014, and they started to test the digital yuan last April and May, 1 year ago. So we're talking about a 6-year research plus a 2-year period of testing before next year, when we presumably will see China rolling out massively its digital yuan. So in total, it's been, as you can count, 8 years almost. So I mean, the same idea applies pretty much to anywhere. So I don't think any shortcut is recommendable in that case, because we are talking about some very sensitive issues. I mean, CBDCs are not just one more privately issued cryptocurrency among those 5,000 that we were talking now. CBDC is actually central bank money issued by a central bank, which means that there are many monetary policy issues involved, privacy issues, as we said before. So I don't think any central bank should take any shortcut to be first, because there is no prize in being first, you know. So to answer it shortly, I would say no. I think everything needs its time now, and this is, of course, something that touches like very sensitive issues for each government, for each country. So I don't think any shortcuts should be considered.
Yeah, thank you. Let me take another question. What is the Middle East region status in CBDCs? Did they start? Did they have anything? This is from Marie Clémence on YouTube.
Well, to my knowledge, central banks in Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, as you've already said, they are experimenting. They've published tenders. They've published studies on this one. The Lebanese central bank has discussed the issuing of a Lebanese pound as a central bank digital currency, but in the midst of the problems we are having, I am not sure where this is going. They've experimented on blockchain before. Egypt is thinking of, Tunisia, for example, have undergoing studies and experimentations, but there's no advance that have been made or announcement that have been made from the Arab country central banks today.
Okay. I have a similar follow-up question from Rania Jordi. What's your intake, or as we have been hearing that central banks need creation digital currencies to maintain monetary sovereignty? The question is about sovereignty in specific.
So allow me to continue just very quickly on this one. That's why at France Payments Forum, we are pushing in a way or another for the sovereignty of the European payments. Today, we are losing payments means by the market. I mean, this is the rules of the market for Visa, for MasterCard in a way, for SWIFT in another, for Apple Pay, Google Pay as a wallet solution. And we wanted to build on the advancement of SEPA, which is the instant payments schemes here in Europe. We have just put in place. We are building innovation on it using the request to pay service, the PSD2 service. So the sovereignty of the payments is essential. That's one of the first use cases for central bank digital currencies. Although banks don't see a money business model immediate for this, but from a sovereignty point of view, this is essential. And that's why blockchain, okay, it's not essential, but a blockchain-based central bank digital currency is very useful for programmable money to allow commercial banks in a way, private sector fintechs another way, to build on these smart contracts, to build on these platforms. We can do everything in a centralized way, but we can do much more today using either DLT, which is not a blockchain, it's distributed ledger technology, or a blockchain-based issued token on this technology. Yeah, the sovereignty is one of the first use cases, major use cases, not to forget.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that question because it's very Lebanese specific. From Hamad Asrouji. In Lebanon, is it allowed to use crypto? We have been trying to establish a payment processor through crypto, but as far as I know, it is not allowed by the central bank. Let me simplify it. Anything related to payments has to be regulated in Lebanon by the central bank, BDL. And I think Lama from BDL is here. If you want to take that also answer, it's up to you. But Lama is from BDL, so that's why I'm pointing her out. But there was a clear circular about crypto related to the banks that they are not allowed to, to hold it, touch it, play with it. So this is on top of in Lebanon. But what we've seen in the last, because we are facing a crisis here, we've seen adoption throughout, many shops, many people are now accepting Bitcoins as their payments or, crypto payments throughout their e-commerce or throughout their shops or throughout their payments or even the exchange of money as a mean of, to support the accepting transfers from outside, so also to support their families. So on the ground, crypto is being used throughout, of course, without any regulation. But the central bank regulates only, what is related to payments and monetary. He cannot also regulate other ones. It's available throughout the world, and you cannot hide. Blockchain has given democracy a name. You cannot hide it away. You cannot stop it. It's there to be, to give people their rights. So let's go to another question. From central bank point of view, how life cycle of creation, destruction of money evolves according to economic activities in crypto money ecosystem? Dr. Oriol, if you want to take it.
Sure. Actually, before going there, I would like to share with you a website. It's related to that question that that someone asked before. This website is called CBDC Tracker. It's an initiative started by a Boston Consulting Group, the Digital Euro Association, and a few more companies. It allows you basically to keep track of all the CBDC projects in the world in real time. I mean, maybe sometimes it may not be like 100% updated all the time because this keeps changing fast, but I think it's going to give you like a general overview of how those projects are going. It's going as well to show you that in the Middle East, in the MENA region in general, there are many CBDC projects. It's what Michel said before about Project Aber, Lebanon, Egypt, but not as many as other areas.
Yeah, I just shared it on YouTube. So for the people who are following on YouTube, so they can also, thank you. Yeah.
And regarding that question from Hassan, from a central bank point of view, crypto money ecosystems are of course different, from the traditional ones. That's for sure, but it's kind of hard to answer that because cryptocurrencies are not considered anywhere, generally speaking, like a part of the money ecosystem. I mean, cryptocurrencies are not central bank money, so this new idea, it's part of DeFi, decentralized finance, which means that precisely their goal is to not be controlled, let's say, by central banks or authorities. So this is why they kind of escape this traditional cycle of creation and destruction of money, because it's not actual money per se. It's what Michel said before. You can like use them as a backup asset. So this is why it's hard now to establish how they are part of this crypto money, of this cycle of creation and destruction of money, because they're actually not per se part of this.
Yeah, it's two different systems. But if we take it on CBDCs, if we change the crypto money to CBDC, it makes more sense. I think the question makes more sense.
Yes, in that case, yes, of course. If we talk about CBDCs only, I think CBDCs are a big change in some ways. I said before, they are the future of money, the future of payments, but at the same time, they are not such a big change in the sense that at the end of the day, we're talking about central bank money. So it's going to be issued by a central bank, nonetheless, same idea as the existing central bank money that we have. It's going to be controlled by them. If anything, it's going to allow central banks to have like a much stronger control over the transactions, over the flow of money, hence the privacy issues that we mentioned before. But generally speaking, I don't think they are going to make a huge change in the cycle of creation and destruction of money, aside from maybe this idea of more control and, of course, more efficiency. CBDCs are going to make the payment systems theoretically much more efficient. We already read on the media, for example, a few months ago, those news about Bank of England losing the track of, I think it was like 6 million worth pounds in coins and notes. They didn't know where they were, basically. So this is not going to happen with the CBDC. So I think those are the main differences. And of course, the fact that we mentioned before, and Michel and I, the fact that CBDCs are programmable money, that you may add or remove certain features. But when it comes to the basic macro ideas, I don't think there's going to be such a huge change.
Yeah, allow me to comment a little bit, to add a little bit more. So this is a very important question from Ghassan about the monetary policy behind CBDC. Well, today's decisions by central banks is that it should follow completely the monetary policy. This is one point. The second point is that this is not sure that it will be open for foreigners. For example, if you are not a European citizen, this is not sure that you will be allowed to hold crypto central bank digital currency for many reasons, for many, maybe monetary policy efficiency, for risks, for fraud, etc. So there are many things that are not yet decided, but one thing that is completely decided, that it will follow the rates of the central bank. So if you have inflation, you will have the inflation of the central bank digital currency. If you have negative rates, you will have money that will lose value very quickly, basically. And this is funny because the governor of the Bank of England recently said a polemic statement, said, to all of you crypto users, be aware, you will lose all your money. And the comments that came back immediately on him on the internet, look, the loss of value of the British pound, I mean, the power to buy in 100 years of a British pound, it went from something, for example, to zero. You can see it exponentially dropping. Same thing for the dollar, for many reasons. So people are not listening to such comments. There is risk, of course, but people are not listening anymore to central bank comments that you will lose the value of your crypto. Well, tell that in Lebanon, for example, to someone who holds Lebanese pound. Even tell that to someone who holds euro, because the euro power has followed the same buying power as dollar and pound. So this is why there is a problem with the monetary policy in a way, and the impact of the adoption of crypto in the other way. These two are almost not correlated, they're inversely correlated.
Yeah, I have a question actually from on WhatsApp now. We're taking questions on WhatsApp regarding Bahamas, being the first established and launched project in CBDC. I don't know if you guys followed this and anybody can answer. Other than being a small country, we understand, and it's easier to launch crypto backed or CBDC actually coin. But what are the elements for that success, that they actually launched?
Okay, I can take this one very quickly. The governor of the Bahamas Central Bank said in a recent conference, maybe it was in the Amphi, or I forget the name of the conference name, maybe it was BIS Summit or something like that. He said that the main purpose of creating the central bank digital currency, behind being it a boss, behind being it the leader, the number one who did it, seriously, it was to make a parallel system. In case we have an attack on the first one or a failure of the first system, we have a parallel system. But one of the best use cases for it was mobile payments in shop stores and in stores. So retail CBDC, this was the use case.
I just shared, please follow us on WhatsApp, open this and you can join our WhatsApp group so you can stay updated. Don't forget Wednesday, we have CryptoTalks Wednesdays with Tay talking about purely, the crypto world, Bitcoins and whatever is happening. Definitely we're going to be mentioning what's, the market has fallen. I have Sherbil Agostin, if you're still with us, if you want to ask the question, please open your microphone.
Hello, Rudy. Hello, everyone.
Hi, Sherbil.
Thank you for the amazing talk. Well, my question was kind of a prediction or opinion regarding to blockchain or not to blockchain using CBDC, and the speaker just tackled this subject from different places.
Yeah.
Mainly, I would love to hear the comment regarding that.
Yeah, I think Dr. Oriol already shared something. I don't know, Michel, if you want to add something onto this also.
Well, I also spoke about that very quickly. We have a strong belief and strong conviction, technically and functionally, in payments use cases, that we need a programmable money that is distributed in a way that uses smart contracts too. A central bank, a completely centralized central bank digital currency, using the model of the E1, has only almost one purpose, to threaten the dollar in a way, to be used as a digital central bank worldwide, or at least in the region. But we think of much more and much futuristic use cases, such as when you pay using smart money, when you pay using a programmable money, what does it mean? For example, it can calculate immediately the tax, the TVA, the VAT, it can immediately pay, it can program scheduled payments built in on the network of the money itself, in the scheme, on the blockchain. You can make this without a blockchain, but you can make it by design faster using the blockchain technology. It's been conceived for this reason, in a way or in another. Also, for compatibility and interoperability, using a blockchain can be a better path. So yeah, you can do it without a blockchain, but you will gain more and you can build better services for future services on a programmable money on smart contracts.
Yeah, thank you. I just want to invite everybody, please. We just shared our survey for the feedback survey. We really love to understand and get the feedback from you. Whatever you have, positive, negative, we are really here to enhance. We are here for you. We are here to give value. Please do file it and help us, understand better if we did great or we can enhance our, format and so on. I'm going to thank Dr. Oriol and Michel for being with us today. If anybody has any other questions, Mr. Nicolas Desez, if you have anything to add, I would really, take your point of view. It will be a pleasure for us.
Well, thank you very much. You offered me the privilege of saying something, and I would just like only to congratulate yourself as an excellent moderator, our panelists with very clear and explanation. So I do not necessarily share everything that has been said, but as a whole, I very much appreciated the clarity and the fairness of what has been said on these fascinating but difficult, sometimes difficult subjects. And also I would like not to forget anyone, to congratulate the audience for very good questions, which triggered very fine answers. So congratulations for all.
Thank you, Dr. Mr. Nicolas. It's really appreciated, I'm just gonna, if anybody has extra question and we really start concluding, I think this session was really amazing. Thank you a lot. One of possibly the best interactive, the topic is somehow unique, but I think it was taken in a very beautiful way, very clear way, and approach to everybody, so it can be easily, understandable. Just, going through, if I missed any question, actually, it seems I have not, and I'm gonna do a round on YouTube. Dodge is the money of Earth. I know. Thank you, Jacob. Dodge so far was a joke, and a joke taken. So I think a joke taken far, so far, and we're gonna be seeing what's gonna happen now with between Elon and actually Dodge, because yesterday there was a fight on Twitter between both of them, and we're gonna see. Anyway, Dr. Oriol, if you have anything to add to conclude.
No, I think that was pretty much everything. Thank you very much for having me today, and thank you, thanks to all the attendees for participating in this event and asking us like so many questions. I think the whole idea here, I think that the key point, the base, is the fact that we are living in this digital world, where things go very fast, so it's difficult to keep track of everything, but at the same time, it's very fascinating. So this is why events like this one are so enlightening.
Yeah, and thank you for accepting and being here today. And I know the time difference is also great, but thank you for making it. and being with us. Michel, the last word is for you.
Thank you, Rudy, and it was a pleasure being with you, Dr. Oriol, too. Thanks also for all the audience. Rudy, it's a great opportunity to share part of our learned lessons and our passion about, and our convictions also about the evolution that's going on. So looking forward to next steps on this one.
Thank you. I think we are really into the future of, this topic is really the future. I do many speaking arrangements, and one of the things that they ask me, what are the students, especially in universities, what are the students, what they supposed to get skills or, go into. And unfortunately, in universities, they're not up to the latest and greatest in their education system and in their curriculums. I always suggest two things, and one of them is actually on the payments, especially on blockchain, because blockchain in specific, even though there's different terms or different means of payments, but blockchain is, the way we see it, is really the future of and it's going to be really changing material for humanity. Anyway, thank you, Michel. Thank you, Dr. Oriol, a lot. Thank you, our participants. Really, you stayed and you were very interactive. Thank you again. Please don't forget to fill up the survey. Join us on WhatsApp. For our YouTube people, please subscribe and like. I'm going to be staying here for another 5 minutes. If anybody has any question for me, I'm going to be taking it. Thank you again, all. Thank you, Michel. Thank you, Dr. Oriol, and good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye to all.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Martin.